Hey everyone, and welcome! Have you ever written one of those classic Hello World programs and just stopped and thought, how do I get this thing from my computer out to, well, the entire world? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to explore how you can take your code global using Amazon Web Services. So yeah, let's jump right in.
First things first, let me just ask you a question to get us started. Think about that program running on your laptop, right? It prints Hello World to your screen, just for you. But what if that exact same code could handle requests from millions of people, all at the same time, from all over the planet? I know it sounds like science fiction, but it's not. That is the fundamental promise of cloud computing.
So what is the cloud, really? Let's just forget all the tech jargon for a minute. The simplest way to think about it is this. Instead of you buying, setting up, and maintaining these really powerful computers, we call them servers, in your own home or office, you just rent processing power and storage from a company like Amazon. There are no physical servers in your room for you to worry about. It's all just there, ready for you, on demand, right through the internet. Let's just put this side by side to make it crystal clear. On your laptop, your code runs for you, and you're responsible for literally everything. The power cord, the internet connection, the hardware itself. But on the cloud, and specifically on AWS, your code can run for anyone you want, anywhere in the world. And Amazon, they handle all the complicated hardware stuff. So you get access to what feels like a nearly unlimited amount of power. It's really the ultimate upgrade. Okay, so renting a whole computer in the cloud is a huge step up for sure. But think about this. What if your code only needs to run for like a quick moment? Just for the fraction of a second it takes to process a button click. Do you really need to pay for a whole machine that's just sitting there doing nothing most of the time? Well, that question leads us to a really revolutionary idea in cloud computing. The best way to think about it is like this. Managing a server is kind of like owning a car. You're constantly paying for insurance, for gas, for parking, even when it's just sitting in your driveway doing nothing. The serverless way, that's more like using an Uber. You don't worry about maintenance or insurance. You just call for a ride when you need one, and you only pay for that specific trip. And that right there, that's the whole idea behind serverless computing. You, the developer, you just provide the code. That's your destination. The cloud provider, so AWS in this case, they act like the driver. They handle the car, the gas, the route, everything needed to run your code. And the best part, you only pay for the exact time your code is actually running, right down to the millisecond. In AWS, the main service for this whole thing is called Lambda. So why is this such a game changer? Well, first off, you pay only for what you actually use. If nobody's using your app, you pay zero, nothing. Then, if a million people suddenly show up, AWS automatically handles all the scaling to meet that demand. This means no more waking up at 3 a.m. to patch a server or worry if it's going to crash. You get to focus 100% on what you love to do, writing your code. All right, so we have our serverless code, our little Lambda function, and it's just sitting there waiting to do a job. But what actually kicks it off? How do we feed it the information it needs to process? Especially when that information isn't just one little click, but a constant, massive flood of data. For that, meet Amazon Kinesis. Honestly, the best way to picture Kinesis is as a giant, fast-moving river built just for data. It's always flowing 24/7. You can have thousands of sources pouring data into it all at once, kind of like little streams joining the main river. And your apps can just dip in and read that data in real time as it flows past. This is the total opposite of the old way, where you'd have to wait for hours to collect data in some file before you could process it. This is happening live. And this isn't some weird, abstract thing. You see these data rivers in action every single day. Think about the live score updates popping up in a sports app, or the absolute fire hose of player actions happening in an online game, or all those sensor readings from smart devices, or just the nonstop flow of posts in your social media feed. All of these are perfect examples of where you'd use a service like Kinesis. A river is fantastic for a continuous flow, right? But what about those distinct individual events, things that happen just once and need to be acted on right away? For example, a new user just signed up event, or a notification that says your package has been delivered. You don't need a whole river for that. You just need a message, a notification. For that job, we have AWS EventBridge. The best analogy for this one is to think of it as the cloud's central post office. It's designed to receive individual messages, which we call events. Then, based on rules that you set up, kind of like reading the address on an envelope, It delivers that message to the correct destination, which could be one of our Lambda functions.
So this is the crucial point to get. You have to understand the difference. Kinesis is the river. It's for high-volume, continuous streams of data, like live stock market prices. EventBridge is the post office. It's for those discrete, individual notifications, like a new user has signed up. One is a fire hose, the other is a letter. Both are incredibly powerful, but you use them for very different jobs.
So, we've met the key players, right? We have our serverless code, we have the data river, and we have the post office. Now let's see how they all work together. Let's trace the journey of just one single piece of data through a modern cloud application. So it all starts with an action. A user clicks a button on a website or an app. This action creates a piece of data. Now, instead of sending it straight to a server, the application sends it into our Kinesis data river. And just like that, it's officially in the stream, flowing along with maybe millions of other pieces of data.
Okay, now for the really cool part, the magic of serverless. Our Lambda function isn't running all the time, wasting money. Nope, it's just set up to watch the Kinesis river. The second new data appears, AWS instantly wakes up our function and hands it that data. Our code runs, it processes the information, maybe it counts the click or analyzes what was clicked, and then it goes right back to sleep, costing us nothing.
And finally, we get to step 3. After processing the data, our Lambda function might figure out something important. Let's say it realizes that the click came from a VIP user. It then creates a specific message, an event, and sends it over to the EventBridge post office. EventBridge sees that VIP clicked rule and immediately routes that notification to another service, maybe a service that sends a thank you email or alerts a sales team in real time. So let's just zoom out and lock these ideas in. Serverless Lambda is your powerful code just waiting for a job to do. Kinesis is the high-speed river that brings it a constant flow of work. And EventBridge is the smart mail carrier your code uses to send out important, targeted messages about what it found. The code, the river, and the post office. And there you have it. We've gone from a simple hello world on your laptop all the way to a scalable, event-driven system running in the cloud. You now have the fundamental building blocks, the code, the river, and the post office, to build some incredibly powerful applications. The only question left is, what will you build with them?